Hey, this is Joe at Gray Bench Electronics. Welcome back to the pedal teardown series where I take apart new and interesting pedals and show you what's going on inside. Today we have the Jack Deville Electronics Deuce Coupe. All right, the Deuce Coupe from Jack Deville Electronics. This is one of my personal favorite overdrive pedals. I think it does the tube screamer into the front of a high gain amp thing really well, even better than a tube screamer in my opinion. It also has a really unique feature, which I don't think I've seen on any other pedal, which is that the bypass foot switch here is relay bypass, and it has a little microcontroller that allows you to double tap the foot switch to turn on a extra boost mode, presumably for soloing or whatnot. I can demonstrate that here. So single clicks will turn on and off the pedal, indicated with the drive LED, like so, like that. And then if you hit the foot switch in a short enough time interval, it turns on the ultra mode or boost mode. So you can have this on as just a standard boost or drive going into your amp. When you want to solo, you just double tap and now you're in a boost mode, which gives you extra, just a little bit extra to kind of get over top of the band or whatever. And it's all working off one foot switch. Usually when this is, there are other pedals that have boost built into them for this purpose. However, it's usually two separate foot switches. This one, it's all built off this one single foot switch like that. So that's a unique feature that, like I said, I don't think I've seen that on any other pedal. Going over the rest of the pedal here, it's a pretty standard overdrive sort of layout. Volume, tone, gain, black powder coat enclosure, 1590 BB size, silk screened text and logos on it. Uses standard 9-volt power with a center negative DC jack. Top mounted 1/4-inch jacks, all the jacks are top mounted. They do appear to be 5mm LEDs, but they have these cylindrical bezels or lenses here to help spread out the light so you can see it at different angles, whether or not the pedal's engaged, and in this case, which mode is engaged. All right, that's it for the exterior. Let's go ahead and crack open the pedal. All right, so here is the PCB and assembly for the Deuce Coupe from Jack Deville Electronics. As you can see here, we got our 1/4-inch jacks mounted on top. These are Switchcraft brand. We have a few ICs here. This white piece here is a Takamisawa relay, probably a double pole, double throw relay. Board mounted DC jack, 2.1mm DC jack there. The board layout is really clean. Everything's laid out very nicely, neatly, all evenly spaced. We've also got a couple of TO92 packages over here. These are MOSFETs that are part of the boost circuit. We have a little trim pot here that controls the amount of boost. So it's sort of a set and forget thing because it's just a little trim pot inside the pedal. Have a couple, or I should say a bank of diodes here, which are going to be clipping diodes. It is an overdrive pedal, of course. The first IC on the left here is a LT1054 IP, which is a voltage regulator. And the middle IC is a 4558 dual op amp there. Microcontroller up here is a 12F509 microcontroller there. And that's going to handle the interpreting of the foot switch action to bypass on and off the pedal and engage the boost mode. Battery snap here, so whatever's happening with the relay, it must not draw too much current, otherwise you wouldn't want to run it off a battery. In this case, an overdrive pedal, of course, is not going to draw much current. And generally speaking, for an overdrive pedal, the LED turns out to be the most current draw. In this case, all this extra stuff still is a low enough current that using a battery is reasonable. Here's our foot switch. This is maybe my one gripe with the pedal, is plastic foot switches just make me nervous. You're putting a lot of force on them when you stomp on them. And not only the actual actuator of this foot switch, but also the barrel, the threaded portion here, is plastic, and I wonder how long it's going to last. I would assume that there's a very good reason why Jack Deville went with a plastic switch here. It probably has something to do with that boost mode engagement. You know, maybe there's too much bounce, foot switch bounce with metal foot switches. and the plastic ones worked better for that double tap to engage the boost, I guess. Plastic threads, I do not like plastic threads, so that bums me out too. Maybe one time I'll get to talk to Jack and see what they think about it. I just don't like plastic parts, especially ones that you're meant to step on. All the ICs are socketed, as you can see here, so if you have any issues with the ICs, they can be swapped in and out. Of course, the microcontroller you'd have to get from Jack Deville, because it's going to be programmed to do the foot switch, special foot switch action. The MOSFETs here are not socketed, which that's give or take. You know, doing those sockets is kind of a pain in the butt, but MOSFETs do tend to kick the bucket fairly often, so that's a toss up there. Pots are board mounted. They look like alpha pots to me. The values for volume is a 50K 50K linear. Value for, what is this, tone? This would be 50K linear, and gain is 50K linear, so all 50K linear pots. Solder job looks really good, very consistent. Solder has flowed up to the top side of the board here through the through holes, which is good. We also have a couple TO92 packages up here at the top, and the schematic is available for these if you go looking for it. One of them is going to be polarity protection using a MOSFET, which is a typical setup for that. The other one is a 5-volt regulator for the microcontroller. Electrolyte capacitors are one of the gold series from Nichicon. The film caps, I believe, are Chemits. They look like Chemits. Metal film resistors. The diodes down here, clipping diodes, are probably 1N4148 standard. Here's the enclosure. It is a Hammond brand 1590BB enclosure. Good, strong, reliable enclosure. And this one is marked Deuce Coupe 2011 Jack Deville, handmade in Portland, Oregon. All right, that is it for the Deuce Coupe PCB. Let's go ahead and put the pedal back together. All right, that was a teardown on the Deuce Coupe from Jack Deville Electronics. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate you hitting the like button and subscribing. If you have recommendations for a pedal you want to see on a future teardown episode, let me know in the comments. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them down there as well. I am Joe from Graybench Electronics. Thank you for watching.